The NFL draft is just weeks away, and that means Dynasty trade season is heating up. And on today's episode of the Regression to the Mean podcast, we're breaking down which veteran players you should be looking to trade away right now and the exact rookie picks you should be targeting in return. Whether you're rebuilding or making a title push, these are the moves that can set your roster up for long-term success. Aiden, how you doing today, man? You good?
I'm rocking, Sean. Yeah, it is Friday. We are 3 weeks out from the NFL draft. It is quickly sneaking up. It feels like free agency has come to a halt. There's really no one out there. You got Aaron Rodgers still holding teams at gunpoint, but
The Steelers.
other than that, man, you got Keenan Allen still kind of out there. There's a couple guys that'll contribute on Sundays still out there, but yeah, for the most part, we're kind of in that lull before the NFL draft, but I'm excited to talk to some of these guys. There is never a bad time to make a dynasty trade. There's bad trades to make, but there's never a bad time to trade in general. So doing well, Sean. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. I'm excited to dive in. I've really started to study this class. I feel like I'm starting to get a good understanding of the running backs, the receivers. Your guess is as good as mine with the quarterbacks, though, at this point. I don't know where this is headed with those two. I think both have some good traits. We'll talk about one of them later in today's episode. But the format, very straightforward. We've got veterans we're trading. We got rookie picks we're targeting. We're going to give you kind of a breakdown of the rookies that you could draft with said pick. Things will crystallize more after the NFL draft when you're having these rookie drafts in May, most likely. But, you maybe can get in front of it and get some surplus value by doing it. And then obviously these are veterans that we think could be impacted negatively by the NFL draft. So it's good stuff. I'm excited. But Aiden, I'm sure this is the first time someone's watched our podcast before. They clicked on the thumbnail. They're giving us a chance. What should they be expecting on today's episode?
Yeah, welcome to the channel. Good to have you here. Welcome back to the Mean Team, our day ones. Always good to have you guys in the comments. Today's going to be fun. We're going to talk about a couple different spots in the draft order in terms of your rookie picks. We're going to talk about guys we're targeting there, who we think is going to be available, guys we'd be willing to trade away for said picks, and then kind of our stance on just like the pick in general. Do we like the pick? Would we rather trade up? Would we rather trade down? How we feeling? So yeah, today's mainly, I guess, call it rookies and Dino. On the channel in general, though, we talk really all things fantasy football. We talk Dynasty, we talk best ball, we talk redraft, we talk a little bit of everything. So there's no shortage of fantasy football content on the channel, but we're excited to have you here. Let us know what you think in the comments. Like it if you like it, even subscribe if you want to join along for the ride. But happy to have you here. Today should be a fun episode.
We're pumped. Aiden, you ready to dive in?
Let's do it, man.
All right, so we each have 2 picks. So we're going to talk through rounds 1 and 2. We're not ready for rounds 3 and 4. If you watched our mock drafts, we're comfortable with rounds 1 and 2. We'll get
no
there.
one's ready for rounds 3 and 4.
Dude, some people are. Some people are ready. And those people, I wish them nothing but the best of luck. So the pick in question here, the pick that we are going to be talking through is the 103. The 103 or an early 2025 first is a position in the draft that I really like, and it's because I'm targeting these specific players. So when I'm looking at the 103 and how things shake out, I think 4 guys are in play. Do you think it's 4? Do you have 4 guys in that range? Because I kind of feel like it could go in a bunch of different directions.
Well, one of them's a big if,
Pretty
as
big
you'll
if,
get into.
yeah.
But I think the 4 that I think you're going to cover are pretty fair. So yeah, why don't you start us off with Mr. Hampton here, and then just walk me through who else you got here.
Yeah, so I've got 4 guys at the 103 that I think are difference makers in fantasy football. Things are going to crystallize a little bit. Right now, as it currently stands, I'm pretty confident Omarian Hampton is probably going to be the 102, especially if he gets that first round draft capital. He's the consensus RB2 in a loaded RB2 class. He's a height, weight, speed demon with insane college production. This is somebody that I think will be a plus starter here in the NFL and will play all 3 downs. But it's a little bit mixed if he's going to be at the 103 or the 102. And the reason why I think that might be changing a bit is because NFL GMs, noise, reporters, whatever, things are starting to shift a little bit towards Travis Hunter being a full-time receiver. So Travis Hunter, as it currently stands, if you look at Dynasty rankings, is around like the 110, 109. That's where like consensus is, because people don't know what to do. Is this guy going to be a receiver? Is he going to be a cornerback? Is he going to play both positions? Is he going to moonlight as a receiver? Is he going to moonlight as a corner? There's a lot of ambiguity with Travis Hunter right now pre-draft that makes it, I think, really hard to say I'm going to draft this guy at the 102 or 103. But Aiden, the Matt Harmon perception profile dropped. He got the OBJ comp.
It was very nice.
He got the OBJ comp. He got the perfect green. I mean, dude, 92% success, 92% percentile against man, 97% against zone, 97 against press man. His tape is freaky. He's got that Garrett Wilson, Justin Jefferson, long legs, long arms, incredible hands, insane speed. He rarely goes down on contact on the first attempt. He's an incredible prospect, dude. And when I'm starting to take a look at the potential teams that could take him, and we were talking about this earlier, it's starting to lean towards him playing receiver, don't you think?
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine.
Let's break it down.
It depends on which team he goes.
Yeah, let's break it down.
It depends on the team he goes to at the end of the day.
Yeah. So the Browns, I would say, need a receiver more than they need a corner. They've got Denzel Ward locked up. Very good cornerback. Gary Jeudy is not a one.
You could use a second one.
Yeah.
Like you could use a second.
Yeah.
I think he splits time in Cleveland.
Okay.
Which is a nightmare for a top 3 Superflex pick.
Agreed. So Cleveland's a little murky. The Giants is pretty murky too.
Cleveland's murky.
I'd say the Giants are pretty murky
I
at
think
3.
so also.
They have Neighbors, and they also
know where he needs to go.
They have Deontay Banks, and then we have the Patriots at 4.
That's where he needs to land.
I think if I had to rank my positions where I want him to go for fantasy, I would say Patriots, Browns, and Giants. I think the Giants can get away with playing him at corner more than any team because of the fact that they have Malik Neighbors. But man,
yeah, I agree.
Him on the Patriots, it would be malpractice to not play him at receiver, considering that you have Drake May and you need to go all in on his development and you need to get playmakers in place for him. You already have Stephon Diggs. You already have Ramondre Stevenson. You could put Travis Hunter in this offense and completely open it up, both vertically, both underneath, explosives. He could generate anything explosive. He could just redefine this offense by plopping him in. So I think if Travis Hunter is a Patriot, he's going to go at the 102. I think if Travis Hunter is a Brown, and Andrew Berry, the GM of the Browns, comments have been, Travis Hunter is a receiver. He's not Champ Bailey. He's not, who is the other guy? He keeps talking Champ Bailey and, who was the other guys that played receiver in college that were really good DBs too? I forget. It was
Dion?
No, it wasn't Dion. It was Champ
No,
Bailey.
Dion was more of a returner.
Man, it's killing me. It was Champ Bailey and someone else. But basically saying these guys were part-time receivers. This guy was a full-blown wide receiver stud, and that's the GM of the Browns. I think if he goes to the Browns, you're in the 103, 104 range. And if you want a lottery ticket in fantasy football, that's Travis Hunter. I think it's a lottery ticket. Now, it's a risky one, but I definitely feel like
it's a risky one.
If you trade for this pick before the draft, and then they come out after the draft and they're like, hey, we're actually going to play this guy at receiver, you put yourself in a position to take Travis Hunter at the 103. And I personally feel like he should go at the 102 if the indication is that he's going to be the receiver. So we're doing this whole entire episode just to talk about Travis Hunter. I'd say because he's such a unique player and positioning for him will be so strange.
Yeah.
But man, dude, I just feel like he's
There's
so
much unknown. There's so much unknown. But there's a lot to like. It's like, just let him play wide out. Just let him play wide.
I agree.
Worst case is he's splitting 50-50. I think, either just play corner full-time with a couple gadget plays on offense or play wide receiver full-time. And, the 50-50, just everyone loses. Everyone loses in that scenario, in my opinion. It's just nightmare. So we need to commit to it.
I think they're going to play. He moonlit as a receiver. He didn't go into receiving meetings. He was always in defensive meetings, and they were telling him the routes before he ran out on the field. They're like, you're running this route. So that he did that on that production, pretty insane for Travis Hunter.
I just think you need to fully commit to be an NFL wide receiver, though, at the next level.
I think he should. Yeah,
I don't think he can't get away with that.
No
level of commitment to wide receiver at the next level. It's just not going to work.
I think he should play receiver and then play like man coverage on third down and stuff if he needs to. On corner. That's where I'm at. Another guy with the 103 we're targeting, Cam Ward. insanely high ceiling, pretty low floor. He has everything that elite QBs have in the NFL. Really good arm strength. He's mobile. He's really creative with his arm angles, off-platform throws. He has a lot of that stuff, and he was really successful everywhere he went in college, and he's got a ton of experience. But the bad could look like rookie Kaleb Williams, who throws way more picks. So it's risky, but Ward could be a really good piece for you in Superflex. And then the last guy, Tet MacMillan. We love Tet on this podcast. Ultra productive receiver who I think could play all over the formation inside and out and will set up, I think, is a really high quality wide receiver too in the NFL. And I could see him being a huge target earner wherever he goes. So those are the four guys. Omarian Hampton, Travis Hunter, Cam Ward, Tet MacMillan. I think all four will be really strong dynasty assets for you. And in terms of like players that you'd have to trade to get them, I mean, it's not fun. You got to pay up, man. You got to pay up to get these picks, you know? It's not going to feel like the best thing in the world, but I've got a list of guys here that I feel pretty confident about potentially trading here for these picks. I think the first one hurts me a little bit because I'm a pretty big believer in Breece Lightning, and I've been a fan, but I don't know, dude. He's paired with a Russian quarterback who's going to take end zone runs for sure, who probably isn't going to dump it down to him that much. And then, you've got his...
I thought you said Russian, bro.
No, Russian.
You said Russian like the...
No, Russian.
It's like, what is he...
Justin Fields is not
Okay,
Russian, okay? I promise you. But
not Russian.
Yes.
Not Russian descent. Carry on.
But, man, I just feel like Justin Fields is a nightmare for Breece Hall's production. And then you also have Braylon Allen, and you got the dude from South Dakota State. Well, what's the guy's name? What's the third guy that got some run when Breece was hurt?
The running back?
Yeah, who's the third running back that they love for the Jets?
Oh, that one was so annoying.
Isaiah Jackson, I think, right?
Jackson?
I don't know. I believe it's Jackson.
I don't know.
Dynasty obsessives, please tell me if I'm right on Jackson or not. But essentially, here it is. You've got him here. I think it's got the depth chart. It's Isaiah Davis. There it is. Isaiah Davis. And Braylon Allen.
Yeah, when we thought it was the Braylon Allen show, and it was like,
nope,
rug pulled, and it was Isaiah Davis. Yeah, that was. Like,
they're gonna play all three of them. That's what they're posturing here. But Aaron Glenn just came from the Detroit Lions. The Lions like their committees. They played David Montgomery consistently over Jahmyr Gibbs, man. So I think Breece Hall is somebody that could be in a committee who also has his ceiling eaten up by Justin Fields. He's also in a contract year, and I don't think they're gonna pay him. Kyler Murray is somebody you can potentially trade for one of the 103. I think he is going to have a consistent floor for you, but as he ages, he's probably going to rush less and less. So rushing less and less. Kyler in a defensive first team, kind of a slow offense. I don't know. I trade him for the 103. And this one hurts the most, but again, you're trading for the 103 guys. A.J. Brown. You could trade A.J. Brown for the 103. He's still really damn good. He's going to be 28. We like trading for A.J. Brown, but he is.
I don't think I would do it.
He's still in his elite tier. He's still in his elite tier. You can restart the wide receiver position potentially. I would only do this if you could lock in Travis Hunter. I would, if we knew Travis Hunter was going to be a receiver.
No, I would need to 100. I'm not doing this unless I know he's playing wide receiver.
Yeah,
because A.J. Brown is still that fucking guy.
Yes.
Like that would be. That would make my stomach a little queasy trading that one. That'd be tricky.
Because it's basically Breece Hall for Omarian Hampton, Kyler Murray for Cam Ward, and A.J. Brown for Travis Hunter. And then you can probably make a Breece Hall for Tet MacMillan type 1-for-1. But I'm giving the people options, Aiden, right? Not everyone has Kyler on their squad.
It's like Chili's. Like, we've got the full menu, like, and you got options. You get to pick your combinations. It's nice.
All right, man. Let's talk through your pick that you are trading for and targeting. Who are you taking a look at right now?
Let's do it. So I am at the 1-6. So like we said, we're going to handle a couple different draft slots here. Sean, we've got him at the top of the first round, I'd say. And then I'm right in the middle. And it's a pick I really like. Conveniently, I'm slotted in here in most of my leagues. So I've been doing quite a bit of research myself here at the 1-6. But again, this is a spot that I really like. First of all, like some of the guys Sean mentioned could potentially be here at 1-3. But I'm not going to do any overlap because there's 4 guys that I absolutely adore that I would take here at the 1-6 without hesitating. First one is Mr. Trayveon Henderson. Man. This This draft class is so unbelievably deep. I think in most years, there's a good case to be made for Trayveon Henderson as the running back one. This guy's unbelievable. 4.43 speed, incredible hands out of the backfield, just an absolute home run waiting to happen at any point on the football field. He's going to land somewhere. We'll see where he lands. It doesn't feel like he sneaks in the first round, but man,
he might.
He might. Like, I know we're going to get 2 in the first round, and I think if there was to be a third running back that sneaks in, it's going to be Trayveon. But regardless, this is a guy that's going to go in the top 35, top 40 picks. I think if the Raiders or the Bears don't pick a running back with their first picks, look for them to come to take him off the board, and they're in the early 30s. But fucking love Trayveon Henderson. I think this guy's an absolute beast and is going to excel at the next level. Next guy, who I like, this is I think my guy.
I think
this
it
is the guy that I have been my guy for.
You've been in from the jump. You've been early.
Since 2023.
Early.
I'm like,
Early.
this guy is phenomenal. And it's Mr. Egbuka. This guy is phenomenal. In my opinion, the floor is so high with this guy, just so unbelievably high with Emeka Egbuka. Just such a crisp route runner. I see a clone of ARSB and DJ Moore when I look at him a little. It's just he is a dog.
Yes,
he does
really
it.
Is.
He does. Man, he is sure, he's not going to beat you with, down the field nines and post routes, but the short and intermediate level of the field, the guy is savvy. The guy knows how to get space. He knows where the holes are. He's good against press. I absolutely love Emeka Egbuka. This is the guy that if I don't leave at least one rookie draft with him, I'm gonna freak out. So this is my favorite pick there, and he's gonna be there.
I think
barring some really high draft pick, it's hard to put some of the other guys ahead of him. But this has always been my favorite wide receiver in this draft class. I would consider taking him over Tet. I probably wouldn't do it, but I don't have them much different, where I think a lot of people have Tet light years ahead of him. So that's number 2. Another wide receiver who I like that, is a bit controversial, is Luther Burden. This is a guy that I think is extremely talented, that had a lot of kind of what could have been last year in that Missouri offense. I was watching some tape last night in bed, and it was like a 3-minute montage of Luther Burden downfield tape, and it was dude, the number of times I'm blanking on the Missouri quarterback's name. Fucking
Cook.
number 12.
Cook is his last name, yeah.
Cook. The dude is so bad. The number of times Luther Burden sends people into the shadow realm and then it's just missed. I'm dude, and you look at the stats and you're what happened between his breakout sophomore year and year 3, which was fine, but there was a lot more left on the bone that you were just damn, we missed something here. We know he's good at short range, we know he's good in the intermediate, but he's low-key a downfield winner, and I think a lot of people don't give him credit for that. So I like Burden there. I think 1.6 is maybe even a little early for him. He's probably more of a 1.8, but it's still someone I'm considering there. He's, in my opinion, that mid to later part of the first round.
Well, if a team just falls in love with him and takes him at 22nd, 23rd overall, it's going to bump him up for sure if he's a first round pick.
Yeah, if he gets not to spoil someone, but if he gets the Zay Flowers, he did, Zay ended up going a little higher, goes to Baltimore, it's hell yeah, absolutely wheels up there. And then the last guy, who's maybe a little too early too, but kind of same range, is Tyler Warren. Man, NFL guys love this guy. Absolutely love Tyler Warren. Just the tape alone last year and the stat, dude. How many balls did he catch again? What was it It was over 100 right off the top of my head. It was some 100.
He had some crazy. He had some crazy numbers. He didn't really do much.
Yeah,
to
100
his
for
career.
1,200.
It's pretty nuts production.
No, this,
I'll pull it up. It's guys. This is pretty wild. 12.33. Still didn't beat our guy Fannin, but 12.33 and 8 tutties at Power 5 and the national title is pretty hell of a year.
Yeah,
for Tyler Warren.
This is a guy that can block too. So there's a couple really interesting tight ends in this class, but by far the most well-rounded in terms of athlete, downfield winner, sticky hands, great blocker. He's gonna probably start 80-90% of snaps from day one. So guy that I'm really excited about. And then who would I be trading for these guys here at the 106, knowing that this is someone I could walk away with? So this one's going to be pretty on brand for those of you that have been around the channel for a while. I'm kind of just going to start with like Trayveon in terms of like reset the running back clock. And I think there's two guys I would go with. Kyren Williams is a no-brainer for me. If you can get a 1.6 for Kyren Williams, I would do it in a heartbeat. Just absolutely do it in a heartbeat. I know what everyone's going to say, but he's been so productive 2 years in a row. This is just not a guy that I believe in. I think he's going to fall apart any moment now. History would suggest it's going to happen with him. And I also feel like the Rams are on the verge of like a potential blow up in terms of like this McVay Stafford window. Like we could see this kind of whole core fall apart in the very near future. So I would flip Kyren in a heartbeat. Second guy who's a bit harder for me because I still believe in him personally is Kenneth Walker. I think there's still so much potential here with him, but the injuries continue to be a problem. Really like him in the new zone, offense this year. I think he's going to excel there and has all the potential in the world, but it just feels like the injuries continue to hold this guy back. Just can't string together a full season. There's stretches where it just feels like he's playing through injuries and isn't himself. So if I'm looking at Trayveon, I would flip both of these guys in terms of resetting the running back clock. Looking at the wide receivers, I picked out two guys that I would trade pretty easily too. I mentioned Zay Flowers. I think Egbuka is absolutely better than Zay Flowers. The prospect profile, the college production, it's really not even close in terms of what they did at the collegiate level. I've really never been in love with Zay Flowers in this Baltimore offense to start with too. It's just there's this. The sky is so limited with Zay Flowers. Like 1,000 yards is probably like as good as it's ever really going to get there. And I think like we kind of saw it last year, and that's fine. But I think Egbuka has like JSN type potential in the NFL. This guy is an absolute beast. Luther Burden for Zay is probably a bit more risky, but I'm still into it. Last guy here, Xavier Worthy. Yeah, I would definitely do this one too. With Rashee
you're
Rice
laying it on the table with Worthy. That he came on hard at the end of last year.
Hard at the end. But I think my opinion is Rashee Rice is coming back.
He is.
And Rashee Rice is going to be the cog of that offense. And then at this point, he's the Jameson Williams of the offense, which is fine. I think Jameson Williams had a good year, but it's like Xavier Worthy is never going to be the one of this offense. I don't think he's really ever going to be the one of any offense, which is fine. But I think Egbuka and Burden both have that potential at the NFL level. And then lastly, I don't know if I would do this, but I'd consider it. Sam LaPorta is valued right around where this pick is too. So maybe you think with Ben Johnson gone, Sam LaPorta is, kind of going to regress, turn into, not a middle of the pack tight end, but maybe you think he slows down and, you'd rather flip him for a guy like Tyler Warren, who could have that, same type of first, second year production that's at Sam LaPorta did. So this one would be challenging for me. I don't think I'm moving Sam LaPorta personally. This is a guy that I'm still extremely bullish on. But there's a couple options here. I think the ones out of this group I'd be most willing to move. Zay Flowers I would do first. Zay Flowers would be the first one I would move.
Zay's out.
Kyren would be second. I'd flip a coin between K9 and Worthy. I'd kind of have them, and then LaPorta would probably go last for me. But I really like the 1.6. I think there's so many really good players there, and there's guys here.
Hot. Yeah, you're throwing out. My next guy is gonna be old guys. These are really good players in the NFL, and you're just like, fuck it. But I love this because you love Egbuka.
Yeah.
Because basically you're just like, I'm trading this player for Egbuka. Like I'm Egbuka. I'm doing that.
I'm hanging my nuts on the table for Trayveon Henderson or Egbuka. I want like both of the Ohio State guys. I don't really care as much for Judkins personally.
He's fine.
I don't really think he's my flavor, but yeah, Egbuka or Henderson, I'm all in. Yeah, those are guys I'm willing to back it up for.
So because all these guys have like little weird quirks. Like Henderson might just be a committee back. Like he just might not break through and be the 1A for a team, and that's the risk you take.
Yep.
Burden could just be like a slot only player that had one really good year of production and could have some character concerns.
Yep.
I think Egbuka is gonna. I think at the 105, that's who I would take at this point. He's climbing up my rankings because, dude, I do see ARSB. When I watch his tape, I just see fantasy points. That's all I see. It's just fantasy points.
Yes.
You're not going to see the flashy route running. It's like Burden might have a better highlight tape than Egbuka, but just, dude, like, I just see fantasy points when this man's out there or running over the middle of the field in the slot.
It's hard not to see ARSB. It's really hard not to see ARSB with him. It's really hard.
I wouldn't trade Xavier Worthy. I'd be cool flipping LaPorta for Tyler Warren, depending on landing spot.
Yeah.
Because Sam LaPorta just feels so buried on that depth chart. I would flip Zay for Egbuka. I'd give it a go, even though
I just don't care for Zay. I never have. I don't think I'll change. The value is really high, and it's just like how much how is it going to get better there for him? That offense isn't going to change. There's still tight ends and other mouths to feed. It's like there's just a lot going on.
Rams are engineering a long-term partnership with Kyren Williams. So it looks like they're going to sign him to a contract, which is so hilarious for Blake Corum.
We'll see.
It's never been more over for Blake Corum.
So Jover.
And then I trade Kenneth Walker for Henderson straight up. I would do that. I'd give it a go. I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'm ready to get out of the K9 business. I may be getting out a little too early, but
Trayveon's a better the prospect. Like K9 was good in college.
K9 was a great prospect.
Trayveon's better. Yeah, but
Trayveon's
faster.
He might be. Receiving.
I'd argue Trayveon probably has better hands too. Yeah, it's like. Yeah, I would do that deal.
All right, next pick that we're targeting, the 201. This is one of my favorite picks in all of Dynasty land right now. I think there are 3 guys that I'm personally targeting, and I got 2 running backs and a receiver. So the first guy I'm going to start with here is Kaleb Johnson, the running back out of Iowa. He's become kind of a divisive prospect, I think, as time has kind of unwound, because he has some really splashy and good tape, and he really excelled as an outside zone runner. And he's got huge size, like the prototypical size. He's 224, 6'1". He's a big dude. He's a good pass catcher, but he didn't test really well. So he didn't test well, but he was really productive at Iowa. He doesn't really show a ton of burst or elusiveness, but man, when he builds up speed, he can hit the home run. So I like him, but he's divisive. I think he has the potential to be a 3-down guy in the NFL, and because of that, I think his value in fantasy is being slept on a little bit. Somebody whose value is not being slept on is wide receiver Matthew Golden. He is
up,
is flying upwards. Basically, Matthew Golden had 4 really good games in his collegiate career. I mean, maybe that's oversimplifying it a little bit, but the guy did nothing until the SEC championship game, and then kind of became the whole entire passing offense. And I think a lot of that had to coincide with Isaiah Bond getting hurt. But you got really smart people saying Matthew Golden could be a really good NFL prospect. And Jetpack Galileo is one of my favorite Twitter followers. I love that guy. But he said he's basically like, they didn't like Ladd McConkey, so why wouldn't they like Matthew Golden? He's basically saying Ladd McConkey is Matthew Golden. And he comps both of them to Emmanuel Sanders. And we like Ladd McConkey, and we like E-Man. And I think I like Matthew Golden. Reception perception profile was really strong for him. Showed consistently that he could beat zone, which is really strong, close to an 80th percentile against zone. And he does kind of project as a speed flanker type guy. But he's not necessarily relegated only to the slot. They're not going to put him as like a sacrificial X. I think he's going to be in a position to succeed. And he crushed it on outs, corners, nines, posts, and digs. Those are all really good fantasy point earning routes. So I think Golden's a really interesting guy to take a look at. And I think the last guy, and a guy that maybe I'm a little high on right now, but somebody that I definitely do think is worth exploring here at the oh man, I'm trying to pull up his profile here. Give me a second. I'm like, got so many balls in the air with these tabs.
An interesting one. Just with like Golden for a second while you're looking at that. This is a risky one.
Oh yeah.
But like, man, his combine's impressive, and there's really impressive tape, and it just leads you to think like Quinn Ewers like
not good.
Like, why wasn't this better? Like, like I think. I just come back to Quinn Ewers every time, but like, I don't know. Maybe at the same time, Golden's just a 2. I think he's a 2. I don't know.
I think he's a 2.
Out of all the top wideouts, like I feel good about Tet. I feel good about Travis. I feel good about Egbuka. Like I feel good about Golden though. Like I don't know. It just kind of
he's risky.
It makes you a little uncomfortable.
He's risky,
it makes you uncomfortable,
sure.
But fuck, the combine was really, really impressive.
Yes.
Really impressive. But like. that's not that's not football at the end of the day. I don't know. I don't know what the
So his combine was really strong, and his tape was good. The tape bros like Matthew Golden.
The tape is good. The tape is
good. But the analytics,
really good hands. Really good hands.
Yeah, and the analytics aren't that good though, because he really was only good for like 4 games. So like he has a complicated profile, and it's similar to Ladd. Remember, Ladd was like, why didn't he have more receiving dominator?
Yeah,
why didn't he have this? Why didn't he have that? But Ladd was a demon, man. But Ladd was a certified demon. And I don't know if Matthew Golden's in that level.
And Texas Texas threw a lot. It was like Georgia just didn't really throw, which was kind of different. Whereas like that Sark offense was fucking throwing the piss out of the football every Saturday. Whereas like but I know what you mean. It was like
I can't get there.
People saw the vision with Ladd.
I can't get there with Golden ahead of Tet. That just feels not that just doesn't feel smart.
He's like my wide receiver. He's my wide receiver.
Well, if you count Hunter as a receiver, he's my wide receiver 4. I have him ahead of Burden.
Yeah,
and I have him below Egbuka. Egbuka's my 2 behind Tet.
I'd put him 4 or 5. I kind of have a Burden crush, so I'd probably put him 5. But I like Golden.
All of these guys are good. I think Hunter's the clear standout at receiver, but we just have no clarity on that.
0.
Clarity I do have though is Cam Skattebo is a fucking beast. He's a beast.
Absolute meatball.
He's a beast.
Absolute
and at the 201, this might be a little bit of a reach, but man, 99th percentile fantasy points per game of all running backs drafted since 2005. This guy went crazy at ASU. Just absolutely crazy. Yeah. And he has the workhorse profile, 90th percentile size, but like legitimately can run routes. Like he's running sluggos at what is he? Yeah, 219, 5'9.5". This guy is stout. He is stout. Breaks a ton of missed tackles. Forces a ton of missed tackles. He's pretty slow, but he always makes the first guy miss, which is big. He gets the yards that are blocked for him. I think speed and age, he's a little bit older. He started at Sac State before going to ASU. Could push him down the board, but on pure talent, dude, he could be the RB3 in this class. So, if he gets a good landing spot, day 2 draft capital, I feel pretty good about Skattebo. And this is someone that I'd be excited about taking at the 201. It might be a little bit of a reach, but I like these 3 prospects. They're definitely people that I'm targeting. And then in terms of guys that I'm going to trade, it's just aging veterans, right? We got 2 running backs here, so let's start off with 2 running backs that I think probably make sense to trade at this point in their careers. I got Joe Mixon here, who's entering what? What is he entering, Aiden? What's Joe Mixon?
Joe Mixon, dude, he's like
29
30 now, isn't he?
29 in July. We got Joe Mixon turning 29 in July. The Texans could very well take a running back. Like they're in play. Their running back depth is abysmal. Dameon Pierce is not it, or at least in the Bobby Slowick offense. Maybe he looks better in the Rams offense, but I don't know. But Mixon again has shown he's productive. You could definitely convince a dynasty manager to trade for Mixon. And he played well last year. This is not an indictment of Mixon, but why don't you just trade him before he falls off the cliff? Maybe he ages 1,000%. Like a fine wine, but man, you could go get a Kaleb Johnson. You could go get a Cam Skattebo, restart the RB clock, just rinse and repeat with David Montgomery, who's going to be 28. The injuries are really starting to pile up for Monty. And at some point, you just can't deny how good Jahmyr Gibbs is. Like, I get it. You love Monty. You just gave him a contract extension. You want to make him, he's the heart and soul of the offense. I get it. But at some point, Gibbs is just too freaking good. He's just too good to not be 65% of the carries. Like, at some point, the Lions are going to deal with injuries to JMO, ARSB, and they're just going to need to create instant offense. And they're going to rely on Gibbs as he becomes a more mature, more workhorse profile type back. So I don't think Monty's going any away, but dude, I think it could happen very quickly where that split becomes 70-30, 60.
It happened like a year ago. But yeah, we're still here. So yeah, we're still here. And we like Monty too.
Oh yeah, he's a good player. Really good player.
Gibbs just a Ferrari, come on, what are we doing?
Come on. Jerry Jeudy. If the Browns draft Travis Hunter, you could flip Jerry Jeudy for a high second. That feels pretty good on a sell high on Jeudy. Best year of his career. Had basically 7 really good games with Jameis Winston. We're looking at like Kenny Pickett as a quarterback right now.
2-1 for Jeudy would be sick. 2-1 for Jeudy would be super cool.
You go get someone like Matthew Golden, maybe who has a better quarterback situation. And then Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is like a walking crash out right now. I have no idea what's going on with the man.
He's taking the AP like end of career.
Yeah.
It's kind of sad to watch. It's like, what's wrong with you, dude? Like, just chill out, will you?
Yeah. He's doing a lot of peace signs and emojis about trade chatter. They're saying they're going to stick with him. The Dolphins are. Wouldn't be shocked if he gets traded on draft night. I would not be shocked if he gets traded on draft night. Now, again, he may get a QB upgrade, but he may get a scheme downgrade. So, I don't know. He's 31 years old. Love the cheetah.
Man, dude.
But I'd rather...
Tyreek getting flipped and replaced by another young receiver to put next to Jalen Waddle would have me stoked.
Egbuka?
That would be pretty cool. Oh, my God. No, we need, like...
Matthew Golden.
No,
he's a speed guy. He'd go get a speed guy.
Golden would be fun outside. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
No, that would be fun. Yeah. Like Mike McDaniels needs any more speed there. But no, these are good ones.
Off base.
Who would I move first?
Gotta be Jeudy,
no, I think
right?
these are good. I think. Yeah. Man, Mixon too. It does feel like Mixon's gonna like fall off a cliff. Like very, very. It feels like the playoff performances left a sour taste in my mouth to start with. But it does feel like every season he does like run out of gas. And with each passing year, it's like there's less gas in the tank to start with. So yeah, to your point, I'm flipping Jeudy and Mixon pretty easily.
All right, last pick. What are we trading for?
We're at the 2-5. So this actually isn't a spot I love.
No,
I've got picks here. So my personal my recommendation for the 2-5 would be, I would just try to move up a little bit. I would try to get closer to the top of the second round, or get your way back into the first round. There's guys here that I like, but I think like this is the last kind of pick slot, the 2-5, 2-6, where I'm like still excited before like things really fall off a cliff. But there are some good guys here, not to be dark. So starting Trey Harris. I think Trey Harris is a very interesting prospect here. The size, the production, it's all very interesting.
Interesting.
And Ole Miss kind of just like pumping out the wide receivers to where I'm kind of just like, I'm down. Give me another one. So yeah, man, he's kind of like a AJ Brown light in terms of the size, the tape, the downfield winner, strong hands. We've talked about the stats over and over. Like, dude, it's like 1,000 yards in 8 games in the SEC. It's just like, what? And like you watch the tape and you're like, this guy's awesome. Like it's not quite like Brian Thomas last year in terms of you're like, wow, like this is just awesome. Like downfield winner, absolute beast at his size. Like how does he move like that? But I like Trey Harris. I think he was kind of picking up some more buzz early. I think before the combine didn't do him, I wouldn't say any like huge favors. No. I think he maybe could have catapulted himself up like into that kind of top 4 or 5 wide receivers, but he's kind of in that like tier 2 or tier 3 of guys, and I'm totally okay with that. I think he's going to be a good NFL wide receiver. Another wide receiver that I talked about, Jayden Higgins. I like Jayden Higgins. Man, that's not great for him though. The reception is not all that kind to him, but like the tape is really nice though. He kind of just glides across the field. He's just a bit of a gazelle out there. Really sticky hands. So I like Jayden Higgins. You could probably even get him a little later than this. 2-5 is even.
I think he goes at 206.
A little higher. Like
I think he goes in this range because I think he goes in the second round of the NFL draft, which will bump him up.
Oh yeah. I think so too. So I like Jayden Higgins. Profiles more as a wide receiver too in the NFL, but that's fine. There's plenty of offenses in the NFL that have multiple fantasy profitable wide receivers. So I like Higgins, and then I got 2 running backs. I do think Skattebo could possibly be here too. Before I get into it, that was a guy that I thought about talking about, who I'd be stoked about. That'd probably be the first guy I would take like by far at the 2-5. But you got Dylan Sampson. We've got another Tennessee running back that we're really not sure what to do with, which is always fun. But again, like you watch the tape and you're like, man, that's pretty fun.
It's
like
good tape.
This guy can move. This guy can move. It's like, not the most impressive production. Like just looking at his stats here, like last year was great. Don't get me wrong. But like the 2 years prior, it just it took a little while. But he's also a true junior declare, so we like that. First years was fine. Exploded for 1,500 yards and 20 touchdowns last year, so we like that. A guy who did produce quite a bit over that I don't think people are really talking about enough is Devin Neal. It just feels like a good bring your lunch to work, lunch pail, just like hard hat, like it just feels like he's going to get it done for you at the next level. It's not sexy at all. I think some of the other running backs like make me get out of bed a bit more and get a bit excited. But 3,000 yards of rushing seasons in a row, back-to-back seasons with 16 touchdowns, like he's productive, man. And like you watch the tape and like they're not cheapies. Like he's breaking tackles. He's pretty quick too at the same time. So I like him. He's fine. He's not the fastest guy. Yeah, like we got here, like a 4.6. It's like no elite traits, but it just feels like a guy that's going to be a good NFL running back. Does he ever lead a backfield? Like probably not.
He could though. I think he could. I don't think Sampson could. I think Neal has. Neal has a much higher floor.
Neal could.
Sampson has a high ceiling.
I agree.
Though. He could land in a really good spot and be ultra productive. I agree. I'd say
because Neal's even got a bit of receiving
chops.
upside too. Like
he
does have the 3-down potential. It's just like the traits aren't,
I like both though.
Incredible. But
Samson's good. Samson's good, dude. He's
good.
20 years old too.
Good.
He's 20.
Yeah, he's young.
Samson's interesting.
Neal's I think 22. What do I got his age here? No, but yeah, he was a 4-year guy. Who would I trade away though? So there's a couple of guys here that are kind of in the range that I would consider. Charbonnet is one. Man, yeah, I don't know what to do with Charbonnet at this point. Like he's just stuck behind K9 still. It's like I don't know what to do with you. Like I'd rather maybe reset with another like new committee back. It's like how long does Charbonnet wait behind K9 before he's too old to still be a fun starting running back?
The fantasy community was taking Charbo. That was BS, man. Come on.
So it's like I'd be fine flipping Charb if I knew I'd be getting one of those two running backs. Two other running backs who I think are interesting. Najee. So this guy that has been productive, obviously, he's got 1,000-yard seasons every year of his career, but it does feel like the end of watch is coming. Just so many touches, man. Like there's no way there's a whole lot of tread left on this one. So I actually do like this signing for the Chargers in the short term. I think this could be like a really nice fit for this year, but like. Does Najee make it to age 30 in the NFL? Like, dude, this guy has carried and touched the ball so many times.
He could. Would it look good?
Just dragging him onto the field.
He's going to be
And then there's
slower.
also Etienne, and Etienne's an interesting one.
He is.
And I probably would. I don't think I'm giving up on him. I don't think I'm giving up on him yet.
What a weird year.
But he is in that range. What a weird year, man. What a weird year. So I'm not giving up, especially in Liam Cohen's offense.
Interesting, yeah.
I think we could see like an RB1 type season, top 12 guy
Bigsby,
in that offense.
Bigsby lurking too, though.
I know I don't know what to do with it, but like we're a year removed from running back 3, and he's still young enough to where like I don't think I'm quitting quite yet. Not for these running backs, not for Sampson and Neal. And then we got a couple wide receivers, Courtland Sutton, who, man, what a season he just had. Courtland Sutton helped drag me along. That was really impressive. He finally started scoring some touchdowns, which was huge. But the overall rapport with Bo Nix was really encouraging. He is 29 though, so it's I don't know. I think Trey Harris and Jayden Higgins like could be similar to a Courtland Sutton type in the NFL. You got Tet MacMillan, who like, man, if only Chris Godwin did not get re-signed to my bag holders out there. It's just you're the third, fourth, fifth option still, man. It's like. Yeah, you are still like well behind in the pecking order, so like I'd be fine moving off of him. I know he went touchdown crazy at the end, but like I don't know. This isn't someone that I'm all that high on. And then the last one's a funzie, but it's in that range. It's like
get out of here with this. Come on.
And I don't think I would, but like
I would.
If you're just
get
done
him
with
off
Kyle
my team.
Pitts,
Get him off.
If you're just done with Kyle Pitts, man, just go flip him at this point. Like he's a mid-second at this point. I'm sure the owner is going to have like mixed thoughts on him. Like if you've owned Kyle Pitts this whole time, like, I don't know, do you sell him or do you just keep waiting and hope he's Evan Ingram?
Sunk cost fallacy. Get off Kyle Pitts. Let him become someone else's problem. Even if he breaks out, who cares? Just let him go. Just sell the coin. Get out. Whatever.
But yeah, these are guys I'd move. In general, though, I don't like this spot. I don't really like this spot. But there's still good guys to get. There's still good guys to get. But it does feel like you're like, like when you're at like Chipotle and it's kind of like the end of the meat in the buckets. You're just like, man, like we are getting to the very end here. It's like I'm not very excited once I get to this point in the draft, but there's still some really good guys, and like every year we have guys in the second and third round that end up being good fantasy players. So
there's some wild cards in this part of the draft too. Say like Jalen Milroe, like for some reason goes in the second round, third round of the NFL draft. You could take him here, take a swing on him. Like they're guys with upside.
Jackson Dart.
I think he'll go earlier.
He'll be an interesting one.
He'll be in that. He could be in the first round if he goes in the first round. So we'll see what happens with Dart. I think Trey Harris is interesting. He seems like someone who'll just get planted out at X and just run a lot of clear out routes. We'll see if he does anything in the NFL. I think Higgins, the profile in the reception perception profile wasn't great, but I think he actually could be pretty good as a slot receiver. That was my comment originally. I saw more of a slot than an outside guy. And then Sampson and Devin Neal are good dice rolls. Again, if you're selling Najee, I like Dylan Sampson and Devin Neal. Charbonnet, I'm still going to keep the light out on. I'm in light on for. And Etienne, I'm not going to sell Etienne for a mid-second, even though that's where he might be labeled.
I would need more.
Yeah.
I would need more.
I like Sutton.
I would need to get into that like early second range.
I like Sutton for this range. I like McMillan for this range too. Even though McMillan showed promise, and I mean, if I can get a 206 for Kyle Pitts, I'm going to do that every day of the week. Give me 205. Get me out of the Kyle business.
Fuck out of here, Kyle Pitts.
I'm done with the Kyle Pitts business. But Aiden, I just feel like we talked about a lot of prospects. There was like 20 prospects. That was a lot of veterans that we're wheeling and dealing for. I appreciate you.
Talked like 20 plus, 20 players total, probably between prospects and players.
46 minutes, guys. So then what are you gonna do? This is the stuff dreams are made of. It's April 4th, and we're out here making magic for you guys. All right.
Boom.
Aiden, I appreciate you for hopping as always. Always good to chat ball with you, man. Have a great weekend. Thank you, everybody else, for tuning in. Until next time.